What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Probably one of the most important resources in Red Dead Redemption 2 is of course money. And one of the best ways for you to essentially get a huge amount of money is to sell valuables or gold bars. Now in this video today I will share with you the exact path that you can travel to collect 27 gold bars, which is essentially the equivalency of $13,500, which is more than enough to carry you all the way through to the end of the game. This can all be done right at the beginning of chapter 2 as soon as you arrive at the camp near Valentine. So if that sounds cool, then buckle up and let's go. So first things first, just a little bit of housekeeping before we kick it off with this guide. Basically what I tried to do with this video is firstly, I took the map and I mapped out every single location that had a gold bar or a map to a gold bar at the beginning of chapter 2. That then allowed me to create this monstrosity where I'm essentially trying to create a route from A to Z, which allows us to collect all of the maps in the order that we need to, as well as all of the gold bars as we solve these treasure locations. The main objective, of course, being that I want to eliminate as much to and fro and backtracking and visiting the same location twice. If you tackle each one of these treasure maps individually, you will often find that you will return to the same area or quite near to an area that you've already visited. But by following this route, you will essentially eliminate this completely and we will be as efficient as possible. Lastly, I'm also including the location of the Tresor Des Morts. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. But essentially the treasure map that was for people that pre-ordered the game or bought the ultimate edition of the game. That will also be indicated in the guide when it's those specific locations. So if you don't have a pre-ordered copy of the game or the ultimate edition of the game, then obviously you should skip that, since those locations will not be available to you because the map would simply not spawn. Okay, let's go. So starting us on this treasure journey of note, we'll begin at Limpany, which is the small burnt down town to the south of Valentine and basically to the southwest of Horseshoe Overlook, which is essentially where you begin your chapter 2 journey. As you come riding into this little town here, you'll notice most of the buildings are burnt down, but the one that you're looking for is the sheriff's office, which is this one to the upper left, which I'm walking into right now. And as you come around this counter here, you will see a lockbox on the floor, which you can simply pop out and open up. There's going to be a gold bar in there, as well as a special horse stimulant pamphlet, which is essentially something that teaches you this recipe so that you can craft it later on in the game once you obviously have all of the requirements. While you're in town here, you can grab the first map of this DLC / Ultimate Edition content if it's available to you. The Tresor Des Morts Map is located on this bed over here. And as mentioned, obviously, if you don't have access to the pre-ordered edition or the ultimate edition, then you can just skip this step. And further on, every time we have one of these locations, I'll indicate it in the video as well. Next up in sequence, we have the Jack Hall Gang Map 1, which is literally again to the southwest of your current location at Limpany. If you look on the map here right now, you'll see it's on this little ridge, basically next to Flatneck Station. As you come close to this area, you'll see that there's a stranger here that you can go up to and talk. This guy's basically standing here and looking at stuff with a binocular and everything like that. And after having a conversation with him, he will offer you this map to purchase to basically start the mission. Now you can of course basically just blow him away or torture him or anything like that and just take it from him forcibly, or you could buy it from him for 10 bucks. But essentially as soon as you do that, you will have this map and we're ready to go. We will immediately proceed onto the Jack Hall Gang Map 2, which is quite close by. If you look to the north of where you are right now, using Valentine as sort of like a guiding, you'll see Caliban's Seat just below there. And you can basically ride up to this hill over here and you have to proceed all the way up it. Now you can absolutely do this on your horse, but I would kind of like advise against it, since it's going to be a little bit easier just to go on foot, and especially also just to figure out exactly where you need to go down, since you're going to have to be jumping from a couple of ledges over to others. And one thing I do want to suggest when you are doing these treasure maps is to absolutely save in between the steps. A lot of these will require you to do a little bit of platforming. And platforming in this game can be a little bit hit or miss, and there's a certain amount of jank that also comes with it. Sometimes you fall kind of like odd, and then your character rolls and Arthur ends up careening down the cliff and basically dying from it. So in any case, as you follow the footage that you're seeing in the background here right now, you can simply come over to this area, this crack in the cliff right here, stick your hand in there, and that gets you the second map fragment for the Jack Hall Gang. Then we're proceeding directly onto the first map for the high stakes treasure. This one's a bit of an odd one because it's technically anywhere between Valentine and Strawberry on a high ridge. You will have an NPC that basically spawns, which you need to get this from. However, this location that I've just highlighted over here, just to the top of Strawberry, is where I've had the most success finding this stranger, this NPC that you need to get the map from. Now, if you do miss this guy too often, you don't find him, then eventually this map will also appear at a fence. So don't worry if you aren't able to find this guy. Now, you don't have to go as hard on this dude like I did, but if he sees you, he will attempt to flee and he has the map on him. There's no way for you to buy it from him or anything like that. So you're going to have to disable him in some way and take the map from him. I chose to just go run up to him and stab him. I mean, you can do something else if you want, but the map is actually a little bit hidden. It's not on the bags on the horse, and it's also not on his person. But if you check wherever his hat fell with the binoculars and everything, you'll notice that the map is just tucked in behind the hat. So as soon as you swap the hats and everything, that will give you the high stakes treasure map 1 in your possession. And it's on to the next one. Next up and super close to us is Landmarks of Riches map 1. And since we are just above Strawberry, basically when we look to the left of Strawberry to the west, right on the edge of the map, you have this area here with that ping right there. That is essentially where you want to be going to that pin there. So as you come on the road over here, at some point you can just cross over the water here. What you're looking for is an outcropping with like a weird kind of like statue on top of it. So as you come riding up here, you'll see it up to the top there. Essentially, this is also something that you can sketch into your notebook. Arthur does that on certain landmarks in the game, of course. But what you're looking to do is you're looking to go to the back of this statue, stick your hand in there, and that's going to get you the first map for Landmarks of the Riches. And that allows us then to proceed on to the other locations. There's also a gold earring in here, which is used for crafting. So that's also good to get. Then we have one of our first really big distances that we have to cover, since we want to get to Landmarks of Riches map 2, and that is all the way to basically the right side of the map above Saint Denis, right over here where I'm dropping the pin. Now, one of the things that you should absolutely be doing when following this guide is when you have the opportunity to use the fast travel that is available to you in this game. And what I mean by fast travel is carriages or trains. You should absolutely do that because that's going to cut down a lot on the travel time that you need to find all of these things. Now, since you were just at Strawberry, you can simply go back to Strawberry and then take a carriage from Strawberry all the way to Saint Denis. Or if you go back to Valentine, you can do a train from Valentine all the way to Saint Denis. But you go out the top of Saint Denis, as I showed on the map here, and you come to this little chapel here, and you go on and search this bell here, and that is going to give you Landmarks of the Riches map 2. And then we'll be able to proceed on to the other ones that we still need as well. Also a silver earring in here, which is also used for crafting, so really good. Since we're just above Saint Denis, we can quickly conclude on this pre-order / ultimate edition loot, the Le Tresor Des Morts. This one actually means that you need to go back into Saint Denis, and then essentially to the left of Saint Denis, there's this sort of freight yard type area with a bunch of train cabooses and stuff in it. You know you're in the right place if you're next to this Cornwall Co. train station building. You're basically just going to run through this bottom area here, and you're looking for this bay here, which has some stairs that are going down into some darkness. You can bring a lantern if you want to. You don't need to. You've got these lamps hanging from the roof here. But basically, you're going past the first one, past the second one. You have a box on your right. That lamp's not working. That's how you know you're in the right place. And then you can stick your hand in this hole over here, and that is actually going to give you a riddle piece, a riddle note, which is the next step that we need to be able to get the final treasure for this. Now, once we have that, still staying in Saint Denis, you'll notice a massive cemetery to the north of Saint Denis, which you can simply ride up to this gate here, which is the first pin that I dropped. You can pop this gate open, and then you're looking for a specific crypt that the riddle will basically lead you to, but you can just follow the footage here. It's the very first one on your left. You go in, you go on and examine that thing in the wall, you take it off there, and that's going to net you 6 gold bars, and that's this ultimate edition / pre-order treasure chest also done. We then take a carriage or a train all the way back to Valentine again, because the next map, the high stakes treasure map 2, is located right here at Cumberland Falls. So get back to Valentine whichever way you want, and then simply ride out there until you get to this waterfall area here. Jump down. Don't try to be cute like I was or trying to figure out like some weird way to get in there. Basically, you just run up this log, you go in here. This is a little bit weird. If you go to first person mode, it might be easier to actually see inside. But basically inside here, what you're looking for is another one of these holes in the wall where you can basically get the treasure out of. So I'm super confused here and I'm trying to feel my way around, but eventually I do get it. And over here we can get the high stakes treasure map 2 out of this hole here. That means we can proceed on to the next part. From here it's on to high stakes part 3, which is just to the north of where you were just at Cumberland Falls. What you're looking for is Barrow Lagoon, which is this area up here. So you can simply ride up here. This is in the snowy area, so if you want to pack something warm, you don't want to lose any stamina, feel free to do that. But what you are looking for is this kind of like island area in the middle of the ice, and you'll see there's a log that goes over from one side to the other. Again, here you might slip and fall. It happened to me a bunch of times. I had to re-record the footage a little bit, but essentially just go on over here, go onto the middle of the log, and you're going to see a hole inside there that you can stick your hand into, and that's going to net you the high stakes treasure map 3. And that means that we're done with this location, and it's on to the next one. The Poisonous Trail map 1 is next, and that's even more to the north of where we are now. So at Barrow Lagoon, if you look directly up, you'll see Cairn Lake, even more up into the snow in the mountains. You're just going to ride up there and you're going to find this little cabin on the edge of the frozen lake here. You can go inside. There's a locked box on the floor over here that you can open up, and that's going to give you the Poisonous Trail map 1. Also do search the rest of this place, since there's a bunch of other things in here, like a ginseng elixir, which obviously, you know, helps you out with, I think, HP. And there's a couple of other things here as well, so search good. Following that, we are off to the train wreck near Cotorra Springs. So that means you're going to be coming down all the way, and I'm using Valentine as a way to orientate yourself. But what you're looking for is this small sort of area that's wedged in between some train tracks, the region side, and this Vineyard Straight Granite Pass Window Rock. You want to be hitting it from the left side because you want to be below the train tracks at the top and not coming from, you know, the top. So as you can see in the footage in the background here right now, there's a train that essentially careened off the side of this, and the treasure you're looking for is inside this train. Now, before we get to the actual gold bars and stuff, since there are no maps to be found here, we're just going to find the treasure straight away. Go ahead and go into this first carriage here and pop open this thing, since there's some valuables inside here as well. I think it's like a big jewelry bag and maybe something else, like maybe some money and coins and whatever, stuff like that. Either which way, every little bit counts, so, you know, let's go ahead and grab that. Then next is on to actually trying to get to the gold bars. Now, what you need to do is be following the footage in the background here right now. But again, the idea here is to save, because bad shit can happen while you are trying to get these. So as you can see here, I basically slipped. And then, you know, Arthur goes and rolls down the entire cliffside. And depending on how much HP you have, this shit can actually fucking kill you. So, you know, that's no good. But specifically with this one, what you want to be doing is running up the right side till you get that handhold. And then instead of running all the way up here like I'm doing, what you should be trying to do is also just boost yourself up like that. Now, once you're here, you turn around and you run back and you jump over and grab there. And then from this ledge, as you come around here, you should be able to see the carriage that you then jump on into like I did here. Now, be sure to get both gold bars that are here. You'll see one on the left and one on the right of me. And then also there's a Valerian root in here, which is of course good for your dead aim. And there's also, I believe, a pirate rum, which I think is good for your HP. But grab all of that stuff, and that means you're done with this location. And let's go. Super close and basically above you is the Jack Hall Gang map 3. So you were below the tracks at Cotorra Springs. Now you simply go above the tracks to the top of Cotorra Springs. You'll see you basically have this area here where you have a bunch of these little rocky outcroppings. You're looking for the one that's kind of like in the middle that has the big piece on top here. Should be super easy to find. And simply come around to the side of it and see the search prompt, which will allow you to then pull out the Jack Hall Gang map 3. And that means it's on to the next location for us. Super close to there, basically to the right of it, is going to be the culmination of the high stakes treasure. So somewhere, well, not somewhere, but basically between Fort Wallace and Barker Station, if you put yourself a pin right there, when you arrive in this area over here, what you need to do is you need to be riding up this little cliffside here, because as with all the treasure maps of the high stakes one, you kind of like have to do a little bit of platforming along the side of cliffs and stuff like that. But just follow the footage in the background as you ride up into this area over here. Again, gotta stress it, absolutely try to save your game, because I fell down this shit fucking twice. But you want to be going up this side over here, and then kind of like just, I'm speed running this now because like I said, I had fallen to death like 3 times, so I was well versed in cliff climbing at this point in time. But you want to be coming over to this edge here, and you need to be going over to that piece over there. So you're going to jump over there. You might stumble a little bit, but get your footing. And next you want to be going another one down to this one down here. Now, again, I fell on my face, but cool, got it. And then last but not least, we've got this other section down here, which you can jump down to. Now, that's the most difficult part of this done. And then all you need to do is simply just make your way around the side here and all the way up to the top. You can already see the hole. And once you stick your hand into this hole, you are going to find the culmination of your high stakes treasure. That's going to be a bunch of gold bars. And I just want to mention, getting off here means that you have to go forward here. Continuing on in this area, and again using Valentine to orientate yourself, just basically to the right of where we just were and a little bit up, you'll find this little cottage up here next to Donner Falls, next to Bacchus Bridge, and this is going to give us the location, or rather the map, for Landmarks of Riches Map 3. This looks like a little, you know, what is this? Middle Earth hovel, something like that. I don't know, whatever the fuck. You can put this into your book as well. Mysterious Hill Home is what it's called. So you can draw this into your little diary here. But basically what you want to do is you want to come around to the side. You'll see 2 windows. There's an upper window and a lower one. The upper window does absolutely nothing for us. We want to get down to the lower window, which we can then stick our grubby mitts into, and that is going to give us, as mentioned, Landmarks of Riches Map 3. Moving on from there, we have the Strange Statues location. Again, this isn't a treasure map per se, but rather a place that you visit that you can actually get some loot from. It's over here on the map, so right above where we were just now. Now you're trying to get to the inside of this sort of cliff area here, so you can either come around the left or the right. In my case, I went around the right. But what you're looking for is a kind of like a tear in the side of the cliff wall, because that's going to be your way how you get in here. So I think I end up falling down this shit here because, you know, reasons. But as you turn around here, you will see exactly what I was referring to when it comes to the tear itself. So you can simply go on in here, and this is going to give you access to a cave with a bunch of statues essentially in with their hands up. Now, this is a small little puzzle that you have to solve, but essentially you're looking to hit the statues in this order. You want the 2-finger statue, the 3-finger statue, the 5-finger statue, and the 7-finger statue. So just look at the statues themselves and see how many fingers they are. If the footage is not good enough for you, you do them in that order. You go 2, you go 3, you go 5, and then 7 is the trick one, because there is no statue with 2 hands with 7 fingers on. So you basically, if you walk around inside this cave area, you will notice that there's a statue that doesn't have an arm. You see this guy over here basically only has the 1 arm, but you'll notice that there are 4 fingers on the 1 arm that he does have. If you walk around this room, you'll notice that there is a discarded arm over here, and that arm has 3 fingers on it. So that, by order of elimination, means that that statue without the arm is actually the one that we're looking for. So go on over there and hit that button on there. So again, as I said, the sequence is 2, 3, 5, 7. And once you've done that, that is going to unlock this middle area, which you can then basically fish the gold bars out of. And that's you done with this location. From there, it's another semi-biggish trip all the way to the south towards Rhodes. This is going to net us the Poisonous Trail Map 2. Basically, what you're looking for is where it says Scarlet on the map over here. You want this little hill right next to the L. So as you're making your way down towards Rhodes, this is an area that you come past. This little tree over here is going to be the location of the Poisonous Trail Map 2. So simply go around until you see the search box. Go ahead and stick your hand in there, grab the map, and then it's on to the next one. Next up is Landmarks of Riches Map 4, and for that you're going to the south of Rhodes, where you have Braithwaite Manor over here, and right below Balga Glade is this area here. Now there's a bunch of old canyons and trenches and stuff here, but what you're looking for is this little sort of tree that's protruding here. Pardon my inability to climb up the side of that thing. And just like we did with the previous one, if you walk around the tree, you'll find a hole in the tree which you can plunge your hand into, and that is going to give you Landmarks of Riches Map 4, and that means we can leave. Another semi-biggish trip ahead of us here. To get to the Poisonous Trail Map 3, we need to be heading from our current location all the way up in the direction of Annisburg. Even though you can't see it on the map here, we're right next to Van Horn Outpost. But that location that I just put a pin in there is essentially where you need to go. You'll know you're in the right space when you see this thing on the map, this sort of stacking of rocks and everything like that. And as you guessed it, since there's a hole over there, you should absolutely put your hand into that hole, and that is going to give you the Poisonous Trail Map 3. With that last map in hand, that means we can complete the Poisonous Trail treasure hunt. Basically what you're looking for is a waterfall here at Elysian Pool, which is just north of where you just were, where you got that last piece. And this is basically a little area that you have to go into, and you can follow the footage in the background. In my opinion, I think this is the hardest out of all the treasure maps, because you can legit actually get lost inside here. But basically what you want to be doing is you want to be getting in behind the waterfall. You can see I'm already struggling with just that, so it's not a good sign. But whether you come here at day or night, you are going to need a torch, a lantern inside here, since it's super dark and you can actually fall to your death inside here. Just following the footage in the background. By the way, this is an excellent place to come for rats if you need those for any crafting mats or anything like that. But you're gonna go down this first sort of side on the right, and what you're looking for is a hole here where you can proceed through to the next area. Super tight squeeze. But basically go over here and then immediately turn to your right, where you will see a sort of smallish area where there's a camp and there's another box that you can actually loot. Now there's another big jewelry bag in here, which is basically worth like 50 bucks. So, let's go ahead and grab that large jewelry bag. That's the one. And then we're going to be moving up towards this area over here. So again, just follow the footage in the background here. It is not that difficult, but you can get spun around in here, and then you're kind of like a little bit lost, since the map isn't really going to help you out all that much. But you want to be heading up here, and you're going to find a small sort of area where it looks like there's literally no bottom. But if you look to the left here, you'll notice there's a sort of area that you can jump onto. So get a little bit of distance, run and jump onto there. And then you'll notice that here you can kind of like go down, slide into a little bit of water, and there's a lip over here that you can climb up, and that brings you right to the location of the treasure itself. So if you stick your hand in here, you're gonna get all of the gold bars, 4 of them to be exact, and that's you done. From there we head north to our second last location, where we can conclude the Jack Hall Gang treasure. You're looking for this O'Craig's Run, this little lake in the north here next to Grizzly's East. And as you approach, you'll notice that there's a small little island in the middle of the lake, and you obviously want to get to that. Now, swimming in this game is dependent on how much stamina you have. You can relatively easily drown. So if you don't have as much stamina as I have in this footage right here, I would advise you to rather use the horse. So stay on your horse and essentially use your horse to cover this little body of water, since horses generally have more stamina than us as humans. And it is true in this game as well. So that's going to get you over to the island itself. Now, you're looking for the side of the island that's low, that has a rock on it that you can essentially lift up. So you can see in the footage right over here, boom, there's our rock, which we can pop open. And that's going to give us access to those juicy gold bars. And we're done. And then last but certainly not least, what a insane journey this has been. We will finish Landmarks of Riches as well, which is all the way back at Strawberry, but more specifically to the north of Strawberry at Mount Shan, which is where this pin is on the map. So you can get back to Strawberry by just getting to the nearest, town like Valentine and just taking a carriage, which will cut some of the, time of travel down. But as you come to this upper area, which is a super high area of the map, you basically have to climb up the side of this mountain. You're looking for this little, I guess you could call it statue or something that's got a bunch of rocks around it. And as you get close to it, you'll see a little arrow pointing there. But specifically, you're looking for one of these rocks that you can lift up. You'll see there, I just walked over it, examine rock. And as soon as you open this thing up, you're going to get a whopping 6 gold bars. And that also means you're done with this location as well as this guide. That's also it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments down below which other guides you are looking for in Red Dead Redemption 2, as I'm busy creating a couple of other ones, but suggestions are always welcome. I tried to make this as compact but also as packed with information as possible. Of course, there will be a follow-up video detailing the gold bars that you can find in chapter 3 and chapter 4, since there are a few of these, but this is by far the majority of the gold bars in the single player of the game. And as mentioned, this equates to $13,500, which is enough money to essentially buy everything you need in the game, maybe like 3 times fucking over. So this should be more than enough to help you buy every single gun and every single thing that you need in the game. and I want you guys to have a fantastic time while you do it. As always, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Till next video, fucking cheers.